Section 1. Introduction to SLI. Question: what is SLI? SLI is a specific language and communication impairment, which means that these skills develop in a disordered pattern. A communication disorder is a hidden disability. For more information on SLI, visit the Aphasic website at www.aphasic.org.uk. Aphasic is a UK charity established in 1968 that helps children and young people with SLI, their families and the professionals working with them. Question to connections: do you feel that SLI is readily understood by colleges?
I've done some research on this, and although colleges locally in Hertfordshire have said that they understand or have some experience of young people with dyslexia and can actually put support in place, when it comes to specific language impairment, there seemed to be a general, well, we really don't know about that, and nothing much is, we haven't come across it before, or know how to support it particularly. So I think the answer is no there.
What is the impact of SLI? A communication disorder can affect all areas of life: education, emotional, confidence, self-esteem, social interaction, and literacy, and of course, future potential. Question to a student with SLI: how would you describe speech and language difficulties?
Well, in my view, I think speech and language is when you try to get out what you want to say, but you don't quite know how. That's in some cases. When you know what you want to say, all these words strangled up in your head, but you can't actually speak it. Not because you don't know how, it's just you've got to find a way to do so. And also speech and language is understanding, the understanding of words, the understanding of language, and the understanding of people, social interaction, etc. And mostly, what I found difficult was social interaction and how to react, if you like, to how people were acting around me. For example, like a conversation that you would have with someone and they asked you a question and you wouldn't know exactly how to answer it, despite being quite simple. I mean, it's mainly to do with the fact we just wanted to fit in, and so you try to find out how to fit in.
It's hard to when you've got coursework to write down the answer to the question and also putting it together to make sense and all the different tenses. And if I'm in a restaurant, a customer wants to order a salamander and they don't know what a salamander is. It's quite hard to explain. Salamander is a freshwater fish.
Question to a student with SLI: how do comprehension difficulties affect you?
To have comprehension difficulties is when you can have people talking to you in perfectly good English, perfectly good language, but you just don't understand it because some of the words you may not understand, or the person might be speaking so quickly that your brain hasn't had enough time to process those words and make understanding of it. And that's one problem I had. I mean, people could just be talking to me about the simplest of things, the simplest of instructions, but yet I would find it incredibly difficult to process that information and give my output.
Question to the college: how do you feel that the students' difficulties affect them at further education college?
Well, I think probably the biggest thing is the change in environment, and sometimes that can be very positive in that they're now studying something that they really are very interested in and want to study, and so they can concentrate solely on something that's of relevance to them. But I think the change of environment can sometimes be quite overwhelming in that previously, if they've been in quite a well supported environment that they feel safe and comfortable in, they know the staff, they know their classmates, and they have over many years developed a very effective support package, it can be quite daunting to suddenly come into an FE college where you have a new subject, a new environment, new staff, a new peer group. And often, because an FE college is large, it can take a while to become familiar with the timetabling, the people, and who to contact with what issue.
Section 2. Choosing a college. Start looking early, in Year 10 ideally. Local colleges vary hugely. Some are large, rather intimidating places, some smaller and more friendly. Even the reception area tells you a great deal. It is vital to visit, and don't be afraid to ask questions. Questions to ask when visiting a college. Are there other students with SLI? Is speech and language therapy provided? If so, by whom? Get the name. Would they be prepared to fund a private speech and language therapist? Which course is most suitable, taking academic ability and independence and social interaction skills into consideration? What would the peer group on the course be like? What type of school do the other students come from? What type of support is available? Is it one-to-one or in a group? And who provides the support? How much theory or practical work is involved? How is the course assessed? By exam or by coursework? And what is the progression after the course? Question to a connections advisor. How do you see your role in the connections service in helping a student find a suitable college?
Well, I get information to them about the local colleges, and when I write up the transition reports from the reviews, I give them extensive information and contact details on that report, and my contact details as well. We generally arrange visits to the colleges, and that is very important, I feel, in terms of meeting the person who's in charge of actually organising the support in the college, and having the speech and language therapy input from the school as well, so that we get the support needs exactly right and can negotiate those with the college, and then take it from there. But once we've got that kind of agreement from the colleges, that can be written up, and if we need to apply for additional money to support the student, we have the evidence, we get the college assessment, and we have all the documentation in place. So that's very helpful.
Question to a connections advisor. How important to you is the contact with the student, their current school, their family, and the college?
Well, the school reports are obviously crucial, and a very good understanding about what the difficulties and the student experiences, because that can range from student to student, and also what strategies work for them, what support they need is absolutely vital. And I think the close liaison with speech and language therapy at that point is vital, because when I write up my report, I put the support needs down, and I like to have those checks that I've got it exactly right. And so I found that that liaison with speech and language therapy, so that I can check the support needs, get it right, to pass on to the colleges, is absolutely vital.
Choosing a college. A Morehouse School parent discusses her experiences.
Choosing a college for your young person with speech and language impairments is always going to be difficult. My husband and I agonised and visited several colleges, FE colleges within a reasonable travelling time of our home, some with easier journeys than others. Initially, we looked at the journey itself as being our first decision-making point. In fact, we ended up at the fourth college we looked at as being far better for Jonathan for other reasons to do with his support package, with a journey that was a little longer and more complicated, that when he was 14 I could never have imagined him doing at the age of 16. In fact, he's thrilled us with his ability to cope. The other colleges which we rejected largely because the package of support they put forward worried